it's time for my August library book haul. So I have a stack, actually a very large stack that's precariously placed right next to the tripod, so if it falls, you'll know. These are books that have come in the last week or so of July, and like some holds, and then some books that I just randomly picked up off the shelf, and I've kind of accumulated them so I can tell you about them. This worked out really well for me last month when I told you about all the ones I had, and then did a try chapter to decide if I want to put any on my August TBR. Last month in July, I ended up reading one library book and I think one audiobook. I definitely, obviously, get out a lot more books than I plan to read, and that's just so I have options and I can try them and see if I am interested in them. If I'm not, I'll take them back pretty quickly, and if I am, I can hold on to them. All of these that I'm going to tell you about all have at least 1 or 2 renewals on it. A couple in the nonfiction might not. But I don't think I have any that are such new releases that they need to go back really quickly. Unfortunately, those books I usually don't get to. August is also heavy on the readathons that I'm doing. So I'm doing Catch-Up-a-thon, which is the first 2 weeks in August. That is with Krista at Books and Jam and Amy at Amy's Bookish Life. And that is catching up on, for me, I'm doing Book of the Month, which is kind of what the readathon is, focuses on Book of the Month, but you can do any TBR you want to. I've actually already finished one Book of the Month book, and it's the 2nd of August that is it the 2nd or the 3rd? I think it might be the 3rd, actually. No, it's the 2nd. The air conditioner is on, and I've told y'all I can't turn it off. It's too hot. So yeah, let's talk about the books. I will probably only read one of these, maybe. Some of them might fit in. Oh, I need to tell you about the second readathon I'm doing. That's Deck of TBR-thon with Becca at Becca Books and Bujo and Chloe at Always Booked. That goes the whole month, and some of these may fit in to a prompt that I have to pull from a deck of cards. I am trying to read a lot of my backlist books, but library books are still options for that. So one of the first books, somebody mentioned this. This is The Curse of Eelgrass Bog by Mary Averling. This is a middle grade. Somebody mentioned this in I want to say Reading Sprints comment section, and I looked it up. It sounded really cute. This is about Kes Pedrock's, nothing about Kes Pedrock's life is normal, not her home. She lives in her family's unnatural history museum. Not her interests, hunting for megafauna fossils and skeletons, and not her best friend, a talking demon's head in a jar named Shrunken Jim. But things get even stranger than usual when Kes meets Lilu Starling, the new girl in town. Lilu comes to Kes for help breaking a mysterious curse, and the only clue she has leads straight into the center of eelgrass bog. And everyone knows the bog is full of witches, demons, and possibly worse. That sounds like a story of friendship, and I am definitely here for it. This is a memoir. It's called Devout by Anna Gazmarian. This I have on NetGalley and got it from the library. It's about Anna's experience growing up in an evangelical church in the South US and her subsequent diagnosis with mental health disorder and kind of her experience of that in the church. And I will talk more about this in a coming up video when I talk about NetGalley. And then the other nonfiction that I got is It's Not Hysteria, Everything You Need to Know About Your Reproductive Health and Were Never Told by Karen Tang, MD, MPH. I've just heard a lot of good things about this book. So those are books that I hope to read that aren't going to be in my try a chapter. The first one that I am going to do in try a chapter is The Premonition by Banana Yoshimoto. I've heard of this author before, and the library did not have a lot on the shelves. So I thought I would try this one out. This is a heartfelt story of a young woman who must confront her childhood and learn both the pain and peace of knowing the truth. It's pretty short, so we'll try that one. This is The Bass Rock by Evie Wild. This is the Patreon book club pick for August and September for Jen Campbell's book club. I don't always read the one for Jen's, just depending on my interest in the book. This one sounded interesting to me. It's the lives of three women weaved together across centuries in this dazzling new novel. Sarah, accused of being a witch, is fleeing for her life. Ruth, in the aftermath of World War II, is navigating a new marriage and the strange waters of the local community. And 6 decades later, Viv, still mourning the death of her father, is cataloging Ruth's belongings in Ruth's now empty house. So that sounds interesting. I've never read Evie Wild before. This is The Flamethrowers by Rachel Kushner. This was put on my radar by Sandy at Miss Reads a Lot. And then I think Rachel Kushner has a book on the Booker long list, maybe. This is a riveting story of a young artist and the world she encounters in New York and Rome in the mid-1970s. By turns underground, elite, and dangerous. The year is 1975, and Reno, so called because of the place of her birth, has come to New York intent on turning her fascination with motorcycles and speed into art. Her arrival coincides with an explosion of activity in the art world. Artists have colonized a deserted and industrial Soho, are staging actions in the East Village, and are blurring the line between life and art. That sounds interesting. These two are chunkers, so I'm not sure that might impact whether I read these this month or not. This next one is on the long list for the Booker Prize. This is My Friends by Hisham Matar. This is about friendship, family, and the unthinkable realities of exile. The trick time plays is to lull us into the belief that everything lasts forever, although nothing does. We continue inside our dream. So that's all I really want to know. It sounds interesting, and the cover is really cool. It's like a map inside the person's head. This is another one that I heard about in reading sprints in the chat. I really enjoy getting book recommendations that way. This is Tomb Sweeping by Alexandra Chang. This is a short story collection? Yeah, this is a short story collection. I've got 2 short story collections out. This one is about the lives of immigrant families, grocery store employees, expecting parents, guileless lab assistants. So, yeah, stories set across the US and Asia. Tomb Sweeping invites us to consider whether one person can ever entirely do right by another. So very interesting. And can we just love this little cat picture? It kind of looks like my Hopper and my Emma, who passed away. They used to have a standoff with each other. So I'm excited to try those stories. And the other short story collection I have is The End of the World is a Cul-de-sac by Louise Kennedy. I can't remember if I've checked this out before. Louise Kennedy wrote Trespasses, which was on the Women's Prize for Fiction long list. I can't remember if it was shortlisted 2 years ago. I didn't love Trespasses, but I didn't hate it either. I mean, I enjoyed it. There were parts of it that I found kind of slow, but I definitely wanted to give her another try. And this is some stories that short story collection she came out with after Trespasses. Brilliant, dark stories of women's lives. Visceral, stunning, crafted stories by the author of Trespasses. Yeah, so just looking at different women's lives. So that is another short story collection. I mentioned this in my wrap up of July because I read Atlanta Noir, which was an anthology of short stories about set in different places in Atlanta. And Anthony Grooms had a story in that collection that I enjoyed, and I decided to get one of his works out of the library. This is Bombingham. In His Barracks, Walter Burke is trying to write a letter to the parents of a fallen soldier, an Alabama man who died in a muddy rice paddy. But all he can think of is his childhood friend Lamar, the friend with whom he first experienced the fury of violence on the streets of Birmingham at the height of the civil rights movement. The juxtaposition is so powerful between war-torn Vietnam and terror-filled Birmingham, quotes Birmingham, that he is drawn back to the summer that would see his transition from childish wonder at the world to his certain knowledge of his place in it. So I'm interested in reading this. Like I said, I really enjoyed Anthony Groom's writing in the story in Atlanta Noir. So there's that one. And then everyone's talking about Percival Everett. I got The Trees. This is one that was on, I know it was on a prize list, and I want to say the Booker a couple years ago. A pair of detectives from the Mississippi Bureau of Investigation arrive in Money, Mississippi to investigate a series of brutal murders. They find at each crime scene an unexpected second dead body, that of a man who resembles Emmett Till. After meeting resistance from the local sheriff, his deputy, the coroner, and a string of racist white townsfolk, the MBI detectives suspect these are killings of retribution. Then they discover eerily similar murders taking place in rapid succession all over the country. So this sounds like it will be very powerful. And I'm interested in Percival Everett's writing. He has... what's the one, Jim, is it just called Jim, that is on the Booker Prize this year. Obviously there's a long wait on that one, but we'll try this one. And then another name that I have heard from the Booker Prize and from, I want to say from the Women's Prize as well, and that is Sophie McIntosh. And it says up here, The Water Cure was longlisted for the Man Booker Prize. This one is Blue Ticket. This is about basically a lottery. A white ticket grants you marriage and children. A blue ticket grants you a career and total independence. Kind of basically how women get their station in life, and once you've taken your ticket, there's no going back. So that it does sound interesting. I'm currently reading The Handmaid's Tale by Margaret Atwood, so this might confuse me a little bit. So I probably won't read this right away, but I will try a chapter of it. So that is all of the library books that I got, and these are the ones that I'm going to be trying a chapter from. So if you would like to hear my thoughts on the first chapter of these books and see which one or ones that I pick to put on my August TBR, please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell, and yeah, you'll find out when my videos come out. I hope you all have a great reading month in August. Bye.